Thank you. Before we kick off to the second part of our conversation about Europe, is there anyone who wants to comment on global governance, sort of erosion of multilateralism? I want to remember here, the audience, that the US and the US Congress was not able to fulfill its commitment toward the change of governance structure at the IMF, so that's create a threat and a vacuum within the institution. So if there are anyone who wants to pursue the discussion on global governance, globalization, new rule of the game of global finance before we kick off to the Eurozone issues. Yes, please.
Спасибо. Я хотел бы...
Thank you. I would like to go back to the beginning of our meeting and once again remind what Mr. Karimov spoke about the cycles of China development. The first one started in the 80s, when after the finish of post-war restoration and the 70s crisis, there they started to stimulate private consumption. 2 years ago, we discussed this private sector demand, and we realized that currently in EU, in the United States, households spend 20% more than they actually earn. How we can solve this issue once the dollar stimulation consumption rate mechanism will stop working, what will happen then with these economies? And I am quite pessimistic regarding this very narrow look at economic development and whether IMF and other financial institutions could stimulate the financial world, because the stimulation so far was focusing on quantitative easing, on decreasing the Federal Reserve System rate. There's no way to decrease this rate further down. That is why we are facing the situation where either we will face very significant decrease of living standards of population, even further down the 30s of the past century, or we'll try to find alternative way to boost demand, to boost consumption. And these alternative sources here in the different regions, because we see that the absolutely objective economic processes lead us to understand that mechanisms of globalization which are rest on equal system of stimulating consumption based on US dollar, they are no longer effective, and the mechanism of regionalizations became more and more evident. That is why, when we talk about the role of different regions, we have to understand that these interrelations should be on different principles. Because on one hand, when we see the cooperation between the regions in the framework of one single dollar system, and it is absolutely different paradigm when the two regions have different currency systems. And I believe in this transformation from the relationship in the framework of single currency system to the multi-currency system, there will be a next transformation in the next 30 years in the framework again of these Chinese cycles. And again, I would like to say, while starting for more than 15 years of those processes which are currently in financial system, I do not see either other alternative opportunities how we can boost the consumption rate in order to keep the private consumption rate as it is now. And under these circumstances, I'm rather pessimistic regarding the future in terms of keeping the current model active. Thank you.